everybody, thanks for tuning in to Transworld. I'm Pat Foster. We're out at Chaney Ranch today testing the 2019 CRF450 Works Edition. So if you haven't done it already, I highly recommend you click on our tech video. Jason Abbott from Honda can take you through all the differences between the standard model and the Works Edition. We've been really excited to get our hands on this thing, so we've been looking forward to today a lot. So as I mentioned, this bike's got a hand-ported head, which is pretty special. You don't see that very often. And they changed the mapping to match the head. One of the other changes that they made to this bike, it's also in the standard edition, they've got different ECU settings to match each gear that you're in, which is very cool. In addition, the Yoshimura pipes help complement the changes to the ported head. The differences in the motor between the standard edition and the Works Edition, they're not astronomical, but there are some subtle differences. You can feel the difference. It feels like this Works Edition revs a little bit freer, and it might rev a little bit quicker. However, it doesn't quite feel like it has quite as much torque as a standard edition down low. A couple of our test riders today actually preferred the low end on the standard edition versus the Works Edition. Frankly, I liked the Works Edition better. When you're revving it hits a little bit harder down low. And then throughout the power band, it feels like it's just got, a couple percent more everywhere than the standard edition. So I spent most of my day riding this in map 3, which is the aggressive map. They've got a standard map, they've got a mellower map, and they've got the aggressive map. I like the aggressive map. It hits harder down low. You don't seem to sacrifice much on the top end. It's got monster mid-range, and it just pulls really well throughout the entire power band. I mean, the motor is fantastic. Like I said, it revs a little bit freer than the standard edition. The Works Edition has little different fork settings, and of course, all the trick coatings like the factory bikes have. I didn't notice a real big difference in the action of the fork, although just sitting on the bike, you can feel there's less stiction, maybe less seal drag. Things are a little bit smoother, a little freer. Much like the standard edition, this bike, it's supposed to be a little bit stiffer. I still need it to be a little stiffer than it is. I went in a few clicks on the compression. That seemed to help. I still bottomed both ends, the front and the rear. I also went in 2 clicks on the rebound just to kind of slow the bike down. It had a little more movement than I wanted. That seemed to work well. The bike corners excellent, and it's quick. This thing really wants to corner fast. And in fact, this morning it was a little bit too aggressive for me. We had the forks up in the standard position, which is about 5 millimeters up in the clamps. It was a little bit too busy. I experienced some head shake from time to time, a little bit of knifing in the corners. We slid the forks down in the clamps about 3 millimeters, and that seemed to really be the sweet spot. The front end stayed much more stable, it tracked better, and didn't want to knife or cut in the corners. In fact, it felt much more predictable and almost lazy in the corners, where I wasn't having to fight the front end nearly as much. So play with your setup. It's fairly sensitive to setup. 1 or 2 clicks is kind of a big deal. And like I said, even just a millimeter on your fork height is a big deal. We landed at 107 on the sag. That seemed to feel pretty good to me. Much like the front end, I was bottoming the rear from time to time. I would need that to be a little bit stiffer, but overall the action was smooth, pretty substantial bottoming resistance. It wasn't a terrible metal to metal, but I would like a little bit more firmness down at the bottom of the stroke. So I'm not sure if Honda's going to let us hold on to this Works Edition or not. I sure hope they do. We'd love to spend some more time on it. It's a fantastic bike. Really cool thing for Honda to do. I mean, frankly, the stuff that's different from this bike and the standard model, these are a lot of the things that guys are going to spend their money on when they get a new bike. So to be able to go into the dealership and get the bike with the pipes, the suspension settings, the cool graphics, the seat cover, you know what? It's really cool. I think it's a fantastic looking bike. Had a great time on it today. Like I said, hopefully we spend some more time on it. Look for a full story in Transworld real soon. Thank you guys.